Unlike Alex Honnold, I love climbing ropes. I also love history. So here's a complete history of climbing ropes. Archaeologists found evidence of rope making dating back to 25,000 years ago to the Paleolithic age. Fossilized rope fragments made 17,000 years ago were found in the famous Lascaux caves in France. Around 6000 BC, the ancient Egyptians were weaving together natural fibers and applying resin to improve the rope's strength. They would need to be strong as they used them not only for agriculture, but also for transporting heavy materials for construction. Around 2800 BC, hemp fiber ropes gained traction in China, and this started to spread rope making to other parts of Asia. In Europe, from 500 CE to the 18th century, long buildings called rope walks were constructed in which fibers were twisted into ropes. These ropes, made from materials like hemp, flax, and wool, would become as long as the length of the rope walk. This became an increasingly important trade as the maritime industry grew in importance. Ropes had to be long enough to hoist large sails and smooth enough to pass smoothly through pulleys on ships. For example, a standard length of rope for a British naval ship was 1,000 feet. The ship, the HMS Victory, ultimately required 31 miles of rope to sail. The most prevalent form of rope constructed was called twisted or laid rope. To make laid rope, fibers are gathered and spun into yarns. The yarns are twisted into strands, and the strands are finally twisted into rope. A 3-strand laid rope is called a hawser laid rope. In the mid-1850s, European adventurers and scientists began climbing the Alps, and hawser-laid ropes allowed mountaineers to summit increasingly more difficult climbs. The use of natural fiber ropes for climbing continued until the mid-20th century. Natural fiber ropes had 3 significant drawbacks for the alpinists and climbers using them. First, the ropes lacked strength relative to their weight. A 9mm hawser rope has a breaking point of only around 1,200 pounds. For reference, modern climbing ropes have a breaking point around 7,000 to 10,000 pounds. Second, natural fiber ropes were prone to twisting and had very limited durability. Third, and finally, the ropes could not stretch. If a climber falls and the rope does not stretch at all, the force generated from the fall impacts the climber directly. This impact is called a shock load and could easily injure the lead climber. Think about a bungee jump, where the participants always stretch the rope as they reach the bottom of their fall, so their impact from falling is largely dissipated throughout the rope. Now imagine a bungee jump where the rope does not stretch at all. Not fun. The phrase, "the leader must not fall," became a ubiquitous climbing saying. In 1935, the DuPont Chemical Company invented nylon, which is a strong, and importantly, elastic material. Nylon was incorporated into ropes in the 1940s during World War II. In fact, the first synthetic fiber ropes were small parachute cords used during the war. The true benefit of the new stretching or dynamic ropes in climbing wasn't fully recognized until 1953, when a German company, Edelrid, created the Kernmantel design. Kernmantel ropes have 2 parts, the kern, or the inner core, and the outer sheath, or the mantle. The nylon kern provides the stretchiness to the ropes that would absorb and dissipate forces generated by a climber falling. The new sheath offers dramatically improved durability and reduced twisting. Since the proliferation of the Kernmantel climbing rope, safety standards have been set by organizations such as the UIAA that detail strict requirements for today's climbing rope manufacturers. The technology and standards are such that to date, no modern climbing rope that meets these standards has ever been reported to fail due to a simple lead climbing fall. Breaks and rope failures can still happen due to a rope abrasion, improper rope storage, or usage, but today's climbing ropes have come a long way since the hawser-laid ropes of the 19th century. There's so much to learn about climbing ropes that I will be covering in future videos, but this will provide a great primer on the history of climbing ropes. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing for more climbing-related content in the future.